Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I would like to talk with you today about a transit that we're all experiencing since June of 2021. This is Jupiter retrograde and Neptune retrograde. Both went retrograde within about a week of each other in June of 2021, and they'll both be retrograde until Jupiter goes direct in October of 2021 and Neptune goes direct in December of 2021. If you don't know already, Jupiter is the planet that rules or guides Sagittarian energy or Sagittarius, and Neptune is the modern day ruler or guide to Piscean energy or Pisces. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces, so you can keep in mind that Jupiter and Neptune work in support of each other, really, in our consciousness. So I want to share with you that right now the North Node is in Gemini, and that's Mercury ruled. And on the opposite side of Gemini in the natural zodiac is Sagittarius, where the South Node of the Moon is right now. Jupiter is ruler of the transiting South Node right now because it rules Sagittarius. Mercury's yin form, or inner side of Mercury, rules or guides Virgo, and Virgo sits across from Pisces and Neptune in the natural zodiac. So you can see how Mercury and Jupiter and Mercury and Neptune work to support each other in the wheel of consciousness, and so therefore within ourselves. So I've pulled a card of collective contemplation from the Carolyn Mace Archetype cards. So if you're not familiar with her cards, this is the cards that I'm working with at this point, and it's Carolyn Mace Archetype cards. This is the guidebook for that. And I pulled a card for collective contemplation to support us while we go through this transit of Jupiter retrograde and Neptune retrograde. And I pulled this card, Hero and Heroine. You can see that there are light attributes and shadow attributes, which I will share with you and how I relate it to the Jupiter retrograde, Neptune retrograde, and how this card can really support us in our own individual contemplations as well as the collective contemplations as we're all experiencing this transit of Jupiter retrograde and Neptune retrograde. So the light attributes on the card is passion for a journey of personal empowerment. The shadow attribute is escapism and a false sense of heroism. So this goes really nicely with this transit and some of the implications of Jupiter and Neptune. So Jupiter and Neptune both rule or are energetically connected to our sacral chakras. So if you're not familiar with the chakras, just so you know, the sacral chakra is the second chakra. So we count the chakras from the base of the spine up through the crown, and the base or root chakra is at the base of the spine. This is the chakra that's energetically connected to Pluto, Saturn, and Uranus. And the second chakra is energetically connected to Jupiter and Neptune, and it's the sacral chakra. So Jupiter and Neptune transits, when they change direction in the sky, this can actually have our consciousness pulling inward towards the sacral chakra. And this is actually helpful because it can help us to heal any energies within our own sacral chakra. If you don't know what the sacral chakra energy is connected to, this is energy that's connected to our creativity. So this is our individual creativity, so how we self-actualize our creative expression in the world. It's also creativity that we share with others through our sexuality. So this is where we can share our sexuality and create a physical creation. We can create children, we can create other human beings. So the sacral chakra is very much connected to our creative expression in the world in whatever form you create and self-actualize, as well as our children. So when we have a Jupiter retrograde and Neptune retrograde, this can have us drawing ourselves inward to really look at any places that we may be stuck creatively, or places that we might be holding emotions that actually inhibit our creative expression and that really slow down this creative expression in our lives, as well as empowerment in our lives, and as well as our healthy sexuality. So the light attributes, as it said, is passion for a journey of personal empowerment. So we are empowered by sharing our creative energy. Jupiter and Neptune is very much about our connection to the divine and the belief structures that support our connection to the divine. So Jupiter is very much the beliefs that we hold that actually support connecting to the divine essence within, to God, Goddess, consciousness, or to source energy, the creator energy, however you name that energy. And Neptune is that divine essence. Now, both have shadow sides. And so, in our experience in life, we can experience the shadow sides of these energies. One of the things to know about the sacral energy and working with stuck energy there is that if we have had trauma in regards to our creative expression, maybe we were rejected in our creative expression, or we felt a sense of rejection for how we creatively actualize in the world, what our creative endeavors are, or if we've experienced trauma sexually, this can actually have the energy through that trauma. It would have the energy respond to that. And how it can respond is through shock. So this can actually freeze the energy in the sacral chakra, so it's not moving and flowing. And so this is where that stuck energy can happen. And also, typically, if we cannot integrate the trauma that we've had, or we haven't been able to practice healing modalities to heal whatever emotional energy was stuck in the sacral energy chakra because of trauma, then what can happen is we can seek out ways to cope with the emotional energy that we haven't been able to integrate, or the feelings that we haven't been able to really look at. And this is where the shadow attributes can come in with Jupiter and Neptune, but also as described in this card, where it says escapism and a false sense of heroism. So escapism is very much connected to Neptune. So it's the shadow side of Neptune. It's where we can use Neptunian energy to escape our feelings, escape our connection to the divine. And I'll just list some ways for you. We all know escapism is related to overuse of drugs, or drug use, alcohol use, overindulgence there, smoking, whether that's smoking tobacco, smoking marijuana, anything that's going to distract us from how we feel in the body. These things can also be, overeating. We can cope with eating foods that are an overindulgence. We can also even overindulge in our sexuality, so over-sexualizing ourselves or others. So this is ways in which, when we've been traumatized, we can either shut down the energy, shut down the creative energy, and shut down our connection to the divine essence within ourselves and God consciousness. But also we can overindulge in things in order to deny the feelings that we're feeling in the body. So when Jupiter and Neptune are both retrograde, this can be a time where we actually refrain from indulging or overindulging in those things I described here, and really take this time to tap into some healing modalities that will help us to go into that sacral chakra and actually feel the emotions there, feel the grief that may be stuck there, feel the anger or pain or whatever emotions that may have been stuck there from trauma of the past that's related to whether it's our sexuality or our creativity. And, you know, if we haven't experienced a lot of trauma or we have done a lot of healing already, even Jupiter retrograde and Neptune retrograde can still have us going into what beliefs are we holding, you know, going into our consciousness and really looking at what beliefs are we holding that are inhibiting our creativity or inhibiting our growth in our creativity and our self-expression, or connecting with the divine essence within ourselves, the divine essence in life, and sharing that divine essence with others. So this is a really wonderful transit to really be doing whatever healing modalities and self-care modalities you can tap into to really heighten the sacral chakra energy and expand it and grow it and really have that energy moving so that your creativity can expand and grow, your connection to the divine essence can expand and grow. And when Jupiter and Neptune both go direct, then there's a trajectory that has been made for a healing vibration as well as an expanded creativity, expanded healthy sexuality that can be expressed as those energies go direct and as we move forward in growing our consciousness through that Jupiterian and Neptunian lens, as well as in our sacral chakra, where we self-actualize and create and share our creativity and our sexuality with another in the world. So I hope this is helpful. If you like the information in this video, please do like it or share it. I'm happy to see when people share my videos and like them. I very much appreciate that, and really great to know if this is the content that you're interested in. And also, please subscribe to my channel if you are interested in astrological videos. I will come back and actually talk about transits, as well as I said before, I love to pick cards for the transits and really talk about the transits and how the cards relate to the transits and how these cards can support us as having a point of focus as we move through the transits that are happening in the sky currently. Thank you for watching.